Hey honey boo, so today I'll be showing you guys how I make my baked whole chicken, my green beans, and my deviled eggs. So I'm starting off right now showing you guys how I make my whole chicken. So I wash it off and with water and vinegar, and then I sliced it down the middle. The way you do that is you just turn it breast side up and cut right next to the bone and smush it down. I got the little gizzards and livers and kidneys and everything else out of there. Rinsed it real good and dried it down. And then you'll need some chili powder, some Johnny seasoning salt, paprika, cayenne pepper, ground cumin, black pepper, olive oil, salt, garlic, non-stick spray. And this right here is just my blackened seasoning. It has all the ingredients down here except for my seasoning salt and my chili powder. So next we're gonna get to seasoning. So first I'm gonna lather my chicken real good in olive oil. Just keep rubbing so you thoroughly coat the whole chicken. Swirl it around so you get some oil out the stuff. Rub down these fatty parts. Actually, I'm gonna cut off these parts right here just because it's just too much going on. Okay, this will be just started. So I like to add my seasonings to an already used container so I can sprinkle it on evenly. So this is my blackened seasoning. It just has cumin, cayenne, salt, black pepper, garlic. So first I'll be adding 1 teaspoon of regular salt. And then I'll be adding 1 teaspoon of seasoning salt. Next, I'll be adding 2 teaspoons of garlic. I'll be adding my 1 teaspoon of paprika. One teaspoon of black pepper. Okay, I decided I'm only going to add 1 teaspoon of cayenne. You can add none at all or less, whatever you want to do. Then I'll be adding 2 teaspoons of cumin. And 2 teaspoons of chili powder. So next, I'm going to put the lid back on here and just stir, shake everything up. So when you make your own seasoning, you want to make sure it tastes right, even though you might think you have everything together. So just take a little bit. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more of cumin. Less than a teaspoon. A little bit more garlic. A little bit less than a teaspoon. And a little bit more chili powder. Less than a teaspoon. Okay, it's perfect at this point. So it has a spicy zing to it. It's not that bad, but if you don't want it spicy, just add maybe no cayenne to maybe half a teaspoon, a quarter teaspoon. So now it's time to season. The reason I like adding it to an already made seasoning container so it evenly goes on, I make a homemade mix. Okay. So I'm just gonna sprinkle this on. And over using both hands. Now I'm just gonna wash my hands to avoid cross-contamination, touching seasoning and chicken. Okay, now it's time to season the next side, the other side. So I just want to spray this baking rack with some oil. I know you're supposed to spray it on like the surface other than the table, but I want to spray it before I get the chicken on, so it's fine. Just clean it up. So I'll take the chicken. Put it back over here. Wipe off the table. Yes, I know that was a waste of some of the oil, but it's not gonna hurt you, right? Okay. Let's turn the chicken back this way. And then the last step you do before baking it is take the nonstick spray, spray it down real good so the skin gets all crispy. And you just spread it out some more. Wash your hands. With working with raw foods, it's important to just wash your hands like in between doing everything. After every stage in which you touch the chicken. That's very important because you don't want salmonella, because that's not cute. Okay, I laid the chicken down flatter. I'm just gonna go over and spray again. See that seasoning falling off? This just helps the seasoning incorporate. Okay. So next, I'm going to show you guys the ingredients I'm going to use for my green beans. I'm going to put my green beans, well, my turkey tails on before I put this chicken on, because the green beans should take a little bit longer. So I'm just going to let this chicken sit here for about 15 minutes while I show you guys everything else. Okay, so here are the ingredients I'll be using for my green beans. So of course, we need green beans. I use the cut frozen kind. This is a 5-pound bag. I, of course, am not about to use all of them. I'll probably be using maybe 1/4 to half. It depends on how I'm feeling. So you guys will see when I start making the green beans. You'll need 2 onions, some smoked turkey tails. There's about 4 in this pack. Minced garlic, black pepper, seasoning salt, granulated garlic, cayenne pepper, which is optional, and roasted chicken better than bouillon. Oh, also paprika. So to start off, I'm gonna put the turkey tails on the stove. I'm gonna let them cook for about 30 minutes. And then I'm going to put the chicken in the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so first I'm gonna add my turkey tails to the pan. So just lay them all flatly. Now you can turn the eye on high So I'm just gonna add 4 cups of water. Just so you guys, in case you need measurements. So that's not enough, so I'm gonna add 4 more cups. So you just want to get it till it covers it. I'm gonna just let you guys know measurements. Depending on how big your pan is, that's how much water you'll need. So I added a total of 12 cups of water. And then while this is boiling and doing whatever it's doing for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to chop up my vegetables and get prepared for everything else. Okay. So I usually add bell peppers to my green beans, but I didn't have any. So that's that. If you can't get the skin out completely, just cut that little piece off, because nobody has time to be trying to peel all day. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut off a little tiny piece. Oh, let me get some of these skins off. Okay. So I'm gonna cut off a little tiny piece for my deviled eggs and preserve this. So all you need to do, it doesn't matter how you cut them, so just. Okay, my camera cut off when I was recording, cutting my onions, but just cut them as big or small as you want to. I cut mine pretty big, as you can see. Here's a close-up. So I'm just going to let my turkey tails cook for about 30 minutes. Then I'm going to preheat my oven to 375 degrees, put the chicken in, and then I'll show you guys how I make my green beans. And then once I get all the ingredients for the green beans in, then I'll show you guys how I make my deviled eggs while the green beans are cooking. I'll be back. Here's a close-up of what the chicken looks like before I put it in the oven. Okay, so the turkey tails have been cooking for almost 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna stir them around. You see this like film of sodium and goodness coming off. So now I'm just gonna add half of my onions because I still want some crunch when I add my green beans. And then I'm gonna add my minced garlic. So I'm gonna take about this much minced garlic, stir that around and see if I wanna add some more. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more minced garlic. About this much more. And now I'm going to start adding my seasonings. So I'm not gonna measure my seasonings today, but I'll show you guys about how much everything is. So I'm gonna start off with the cayenne. I'm just gonna add a little sprinkle. You don't have to add this. Now I'm gonna add my garlic powder. Hold up the top down. Okay, garlic powder. paprika, a little black pepper, and a little Johnny seasoning salt. I'm gonna add some more garlic powder. The heat was making it not come through the sprinkly part, so I'm just gonna. Okay. Now just stir this up. See that nice color already? So at this point, the turkey tails aren't ready to be they're not falling apart and they're not ready to be cut up yet. So I'm just going to keep this on high heat. Okay, I'm gonna put the lid on and turn it down to about a 6.5. And I'm just gonna let this cook for about 30 more minutes. The chicken I put in the oven already. It's been cooking for 10 minutes so far. I'm gonna cook it for about an hour and then check to see if it's done. Be back. So it's been about 30 minutes of extra of cooking the turkey tail. So it's been about an hour. I'll take the lid off and add the rest of the onion. Then I'll come back to this in about 15 minutes once I finish the deviled eggs. Okay, y'all, to make my deviled eggs, I'll be using 8 boiled eggs, salt, pepper, mayonnaise, mustard, apple cider vinegar, this little piece of onion I reserved earlier, and a little tiny piece of pickle. So to start off, I boiled my eggs. I put 8 eggs in a pot, covered it fully. Then I waited for it to boil on high heat, kept it on the eye, put a lid on, and turned off the heat, and kept it there for 18 minutes. Then rinsed, and then they're done. And I just cut them and took the yolk out. And yeah. So first, I'm going to chop up my onion and my pickle. So for my vegetables, I'm going to chop them really small because you don't want large chunks in your deviled eggs. Okay, but now for the pickle, we'll do the same thing. Okay, so you can add your vegetables to your bowl with your yolks. So I usually use, the regular mayonnaise, not the squeezed one, but we don't have any of that. So I have 1/3 cup, measuring cup. So add just a little bit under 1/3 cup of mayonnaise. I'll scrape this and add more later. So now take a spoon, stir it together first. just mash up the egg yolks. I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of mustard. So that's 1 teaspoon. Then for the apple cider vinegar, I'm gonna shake it up so everything's mixed up. And just add, make sure you don't add too much, but okay. So that's about 1 teaspoon. Now at this point you can taste test. So you can get an estimate of how much salt and pepper you need to add. Okay. So I'm going to sprinkle in some pepper. A little bit of salt. I'll just stir that around. Okay, I'm gonna get another spoon and taste it again to make sure I like how it tastes. I'm gonna add a little bit more black pepper. Tastes really good. I might as well scrape in this little bit of mayonnaise that was left in here. Okay. Stir it all together one last time. And we're just gonna take a clean spoon and just take some of the filling and go in on each one. Make sure to add some to each one before you try to overflow any of them. When I was showing my ingredients for my deviled eggs, I forgot to tell you guys to sprinkle it with paprika, just regular paprika. Some people use smoked, but I don't have that. And just go high up and just sprinkle it on. And this is the finished result. These ones got a little bit messed up. It's supposed to be like a little flour. Okay. Okay. This is the finished result. So I'm just gonna let these chill in the fridge while I finish the green beans, and then I'll come back and show you everything when it's done. Okay, y'all, so the turkey tails have been cooking for about an hour and a half, and now I'm about to add my green beans. They're starting to fall apart, not all the way. So I'm going to take the green beans out of the freezer. Okay. So let's just pour these in. Stir it. See if that's the amount you want. I'm gonna add some more water. One second. So I'm gonna add 2 cups of water initially. Stir that around. Okay, let's add some more green beans. feel like that's a good amount. So it's just about half the bag. Here's the whole bag. There's one right here. So let's stir this back around. So I guess 2.5 pounds of green beans. I like my meat to greens and green beans and vegetables ratio to be pretty nice. So I'm just going to stir this together a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit more water. Turn this back up to high heat. Because these turkey tails still need to cook some more. I'm gonna get a sense of what it tastes like. I'm gonna add more garlic powder. More paprika. A little bit more black pepper. A dash of cayenne. A dash of sea salt. And about this much better than bouillon. There's not that much left in this container. I have another one. I'm just gonna scrape this out. You guys can get a guesstimate of how much. It's all about your taste preference. If you don't like garlic, if you don't like pepper, if you don't like spicy, if you don't like salt, then just accommodate to your likings. Stir this around. Okay. Make sure I like the ratio. Oh, that's the chicken. It's been cooking for about an hour. Splashing stuff on the wall. So the green beans are coming to a boil. I'm gonna wait for this to come to a full boil and then cover it and put it on 6. The green beans are starting to come to a boil. I'm going to cover them and turn it down to 6 and then cook it for maybe 20 more minutes. And then now I'm about to show you guys what the chicken's looking like. Okay, y'all, this is what the chicken looks like after cooking for about an hour. I'm just gonna flip it over. Let me get 2 tongs. saw how it looked a little bit dry on the other side? Well, when I flip it, the juices from the bottom are about to flip onto the top, and then that will help it like look more moisturized. So I'm gonna put it back in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, so this is what the green beans look like all done. Okay, y'all, so this is what the chicken looks like all done. When I flipped it over, the skin got a little messed up. The meat is falling off the bone. I'll show you real quick. Look at this wing. It's just, look at that. Beautiful. So I'm going to plate my food and then I'll be back. Here's a close-up. Don't mind the skin coming off. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.